Welcome back to ArmanisMath. Today we're going to focus on function in standard form, quadratic function in standard form. Actually, a warm-up for you. I'll give you a couple of minutes for that. So please focus on the warm-up. All of us should be attempting the warm-up, whether on the live stream or the other side. You should be attempting the warm-up, okay? It helps you get ready for the lesson. The first one here. First one I have, think with me a little bit. Describe the transformation. Okay, you want to describe what happens to this quadratic formula or this parabola. And I'm here as a vertex. So y equals a open parentheses x minus h squared plus k. So basically h and k of the point for your vertex. And in this case, what they're asking here is what happened to this parabola? Did you move up, down, left, and right? So can somebody help me with that? Did I move up? Number one here. Did I move up, down, left, and right? That's true, Kennedy. I see that. So you did add that to the right one. That is very true. You guys are good. So I moved to the right one and went up. While we're at this one, what's the vertex of this parabola? Good job, Yurishi. What's the vertex of this parabola? I want to remind you of last time's lesson, the h and k. 1, 3 is correct. That is very true, Lindsay. 1, 3 is the vertex. Didn't ask for this. I'm just saying. That's just a review. So the vertex is 1, 3. And also the transformation is it's 1 to the right. And remember, it's always the opposite for the h. It's always the opposite. K is always the same. So you went up 3 for the k. Okay, good. Which means up. How about the second one here? What kind of transformation do we have on the second one? What did this 2 do to the function? What does it do? Stretches. Here we go. That's Natalie. That's great. Yep, this one stretches. If it's more than one, you're actually stretching vertically. So if I would have the parent, for example, if I would have the parent look like this, a little bit flatter, this here, this guy here is going to look a little bit skinnier. Stretch, like you're pulling strings from the top here. That's a vertical stretch. Okay, that's how you think of that second guy here. It's still gonna be a happy face, obviously, because the a is positive, but you're stretching it. Okay, how about the number 3? What do you think of number 3? Somebody gave me the vertex for number 3. So the vertex is going to be -1, 1. This is h, this is k. And somebody tell me, am I looking up happy or am I sad frown face? I'm definitely sad. Look at this here. This parabola is pretty sad. The vertex is, in this case, because you're looking down, it's going to be the highest, the maximum point. So I am -1, 1. This is my maximum point because this parabola is looking down. I'm looking down. So somebody also tell me before I leave this spot here. So I know that I'm going down. And am I stretching, shrinking? What kind of transformation is happening at this point? Yeah, what's happening here? Am I in terms of the vertex? So did I move up, down, left, or right? I kind of give it away because I showed you the graph prior to, but I moved to the left, as you said, 1, and I moved up 1. Okay, good job. So here's the objective of today. I will be able to write and graph quadratic functions in standard form. I will be able to write and graph quadratic functions in standard form. So apparently you could, right off the bat, you could say there's another form of the quadratic function, which is in this case called standard form. And standard form is unique because this one you're actually going to sing ABC together. What? Yes, this one has the ABC, and you got to know the ABC. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. In the standard form of the parabola, you will write your parabola as y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So that form is not like the vertex form, which has h and k. This one has ax squared plus bx plus c. I need to point out that a and b and c are real numbers. If you guys remember, we talked about real numbers last chapter, real numbers. So they are not imaginary numbers, they're real numbers. And also you gotta know that every location determines which one is where. So a is always next to the x squared, there's no exception. B is always next to the x, and c is a constant, just a number by itself. So I have an example here for us to look at, for us to know or to identify the ABC. So in this example here, what do you think is going to be my A? A equals -2, and that's what I would do in every single problem. I've got to label these. B equals -8, and C is going to equal to the number by itself, which is 1. Also, make sure that you take the number with its sign, meaning B will have to equal -8, the whole thing, not just 8. It's actually -8. Okay, so I'll give you a couple of problems, and you guys help me on the ways that you have to communicate with me, which is the chat or the comments or the whiteboards. Let's say I have y equals 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. Go ahead and give me the ABC for this problem here. Because once you know the ABC, next time you want to sing with me. Right. So that's true. A is the number next to the x squared. So that's A equals 3. And B is the number next to the x. I'm going to call upon some of you, okay? Make sure that you're ready, guys. And C equals 2. Okay, what if I try to spice it up a little bit? Just a little bit spicy. Just a little bit. Okay, come on. What if I said y equals, and I've got 3x minus 2x squared plus 4. Ha ha! Brianna, what's my A? Brianna, what's my A? A is 3. That's the problem. A is not 3. Yep. Remember, A is always next to the x squared. So according to you, friends, A is -2. It's always next to x squared. That's what determines the A. Okay, and the B is 3. All right. Now, let me go up here. I need somebody to copy this here. See this here? I need somebody to copy this because I'm going to ask you to put that on your whiteboard. Copy this here for me. -2x squared minus 8x plus 1. Okay? Go ahead and put that on the chat or the comments. Give me that, please. Give me that equation. Y equals what? I got a -2x. Thank you, Natalie. Minus 8x plus 1. Okay, now here's the deal. They wanted you to go from the standard form to the vertex form. So they wanted you to go from here to there. They wanted you basically to put that in, or to find the vertex. So how do you find the vertex from standard? Well, that's why we said you gotta have to know your ABC, right? So what is A? We talked about that just a minute ago. A is equals -2. And please get to the habit of actually labeling them again. You see it, you just write it again, because a lot of us forget that it's sometimes the negatives get you. So b equals, and you put that to yourself just as a reminder, -8, and then the c equals 1. Okay, now there's an important formula here. I'm gonna box that in for you. To go from standard to vertex, if you want to find the vertex within the standard form, you have the capacity to do that by using this little formula here. H, remember the vertex is h and k, right? H comma k, which is also a point on the graph. So h comma k is x comma y. So anyways, back to the h here. So h is going to be equal to -b divided by 2a. Make sure that you remember this formula, put it somewhere where you actually gonna refer to it multiple times. So h, which is one part, the first part, the x part of the vertex, is found by negative, don't forget that negative, b divided by 2a. And in this case, I'm gonna say h equals negative, pay attention, I'm gonna do it actually here, one more time here, negative b over 2a. That's how you find the h. H of what, Armani? Well, h of the vertex. This point of the vertex, which is an x, if you guys remember, and this point is y, right? Okay, so now let's do some math here. I need a negative and I need a b. Well, my b was negative already, so -8 divided by 2 times a. Well, what's my a? Well, your a is -2. Use parentheses, you guys. It's only going to help you. -8 or -8 is 8 divided by -4. That's going to give you a -2. All right. So basically, your h is -2. This point is -2. So what's the k? Well, you find the k by plugging in the h into your function. So basically, you're going to take the -2, and plug it into your equation. You're going to take that 2 and plug it here. Okay? Let's do that. So let's plug in the 2 into my equation. My equation was y equals -2x squared minus 8x plus 1. I'm trying to find the k for my vertex. I'm trying to find the k for my vertex. This is what I'm trying to find. I found the h. So what you do is just substitute the h, because the h is the x part of it. So you're going to say -2 minus 2 squared minus 8, -2 plus 1. There's a square here. Which equals to, I've got a 4, -2 times -2 is 4, times -2, that's -8. And then I got plus 16. Whoa, why'd you get plus 16? Well, this is negative times negative is positive. 8 times 2 is 16. Plus 1. So, and then you're going to say, well, this is 16 minus 8. Well, that's 8. 8 plus 1, well, that's 9. Okay. So now you know this part here. Now you know the 9. So basically what you know from here is the vertex. You got the vertex from the standard form. The vertex is -2, 9. What did we do in this problem? Well, they gave us a standard form and they asked for the vertex. And we were able to get them the vertex because we know, now I know my ABC, next time won't you sing with me? Because you know that, you're able to sing and you're able to find the vertex. How do you do that? Well, there's a formula here. H is -b divided by 2a. And once you find that, you plug h, or the x, into the equation. It's going to give you the y, which is this second piece of this vertex. Okay, any question on this? Any question on this? I'm kind of monitoring multiple screens here. Any question on this? Any comment on the live stream? I can't see anything yet. Any questions on the chat? Be more specific, Mr. Pop, okay? Okay, this is the vertex. Let's move on. What is the axis of symmetry? What? What's the axis of symmetry? Well, that's going to go back to the last lesson. So, again, I would watch the last lesson, and I would, just a refresher for the last lesson, I'm going to talk about this for a second here. What is this idea of axis of symmetry? I think I've seen this before. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Didn't you see this one before with me? X equals negative v over 2a. We just talked about that one. That's the h in the vertex. Well, do pay attention here because this is also helpful. That x part, or the h, is also helpful when it comes to the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is the line that cuts your parabola in half. And for our parabola, because it was pointing downward, that's the line that cuts it exactly in half. So it goes through the x part of the vertex. X equals negative 2 at this point. That's a line, imaginary line, that goes through exactly the middle of the parabola. Slice it exactly in half, like a mirror. And in this case, it was exactly at negative 2 because the vertex was negative 2, 9. Okay? It was there. I saw it. So what was the axis of symmetry for our problem? It was exactly at negative 2. That line that cuts the parabola exactly in half, you could say it line of reflection if you'd like. It's called axis of symmetry. The graph is symmetric on both sides of this line. And that's why the x is equal to negative 2. Okay. How about the y-intercept? Now this is interesting. There's a couple ways to find the y-intercept. And the y-intercept, again, I'm going to go back, refer to the actual problem itself. So watch this for a second. If you want to find the y-intercept, I'm going to give you two different ways. Just give me one way, Armani. Come on, you grew up. You could create some options here, okay? So one way you could do, you could look at the problem itself, like y equals negative 2x squared minus 8x plus 1. Okay, watch what I'm going to do here to find the y-intercept. You could do just short. Does anybody remember something, a name, something I called t-table? The little t-table. The little t-table. Does anybody remember that? Exactly. So basically you're trying to find the intercept. So if you want to find the y-intercept, you're going to put x equals 0. So let's put x equals 0. And that's probably the easiest thing to do. Look, if x is 0, then bleep, get your fruit ninja, and this is gone, leaving you only with 1. Basically, you have 0, 1. The y-intercept is going to touch at 1. So you're touching the y-axis at 1. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it, which is equally amusing and interesting, you could say or if you are in a standard form, you actually are ready to get the y-intercept just by looking at the c. If you looked at the c by itself, you are looking at the y-intercept. So what do you think is the c in this problem? It's just the c in the standard form. Make sure that you're exactly in the standard form though, okay? So if you have to shift things around or do whatever you have to do, you just have to look at the c. And guess what? The c here happens to be 1, so your y-intercept is that. As simple as that. And graphically, that's confirms the fact that here we go. The y-intercept touches at this point. Where was my vertex? It's all the way to the top, Armani. Where's your axis of symmetry? Well, that's the line that goes through the x part of the vertex that cuts it exactly in half. In this case, x equals negative 2. Now, they're telling you also another idea. If you looked closely at this parabola and you only have the vertex at one point, that's it. You're set to graph the parabola because everything on this side is reflected. Look with me here. I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit, okay? I'm going to zoom in. I'll show you something here. Okay. Look at the graph with me for a second. As you zoomed in, this point here is reflected on the other side of the axis of symmetry. See that? This point also is reflected here. Also this point. And down here, and down here. So all what you need to graph a parabola, in this case, is just going to be the vertex, because you know the highest point, in this case, and also one other point, and you're set. You just reflect. Graphically, that's what you do. All right, champions. I never expected more of you than I do of myself, but I gotta tell you what. Can somebody finish that? Joe Gregory. But I tell you what. Come on, you champions. Yep, I expect a lot of myself. That's very true. Which I do, by the way. And that's why I'm expecting a lot of you as well. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's do some practice. Find the vertex and the y-intercept of the quadratic function. Juliana, I know. What we're going to persevere and we're going to struggle productively. How are we going to learn this? Yeah, Juliana, you could do it. And remember, I'm here for help, okay? I'm here to help. So you ask questions in the chat, in the whiteboard, office hours. You have a lot of options. Okay, Juliana? So let's focus here. Help me out, actually. Why don't you help me out, Juliana, with this? What's A and B and C here? And Jacob, get yourself ready. I'm going to ask you a question. Giovanni. Juliana, are you still with me? I need A and B and C. A and B and C. A and B and C. Josep, Philip, his A is 3, B is Josep, give me A, B, and C for this problem. Keep going, Juliana. Juliana said B is, you get it close, Kennedy and Juliana, a little bit close to the B. Not exactly that, but look at the B carefully though. Here we go. Negative 12. That's what I said. When you write it down, it really helps. So I'm going to actually label it down. Let's just see that there's a negative 12 here. And the C itself is going to be that number that you gave me. Is Philip here? Philip Josep. Josep? Where is Mr. Philip? Let me see here. Okay, Josep. All right. So now if you want the vertex, we said the vertex is h comma k. What was the equation for the h? Does anybody remember? What was my equation for the h? That's right. H is going to be negative b over 2a. So who volunteers to help me out with this one? Who would help me out with this? Sometimes I ask for volunteers, sometimes it's non-volunteer. Ryan, if you could use a chat, and Donovan, I think it's... So I've got myself negative. Yeah, I know. I got myself negative. What's the B again? Use your whiteboards, you guys. Use the chat or the comments. Negative. Okay. 12 divided by 2 times the 3. And I'm looking closely here. I see myself looking at 12 divided by 6. Well, that's just a 2. Okay, I'm going to take the 2 and plug it back to find the k. So basically what you just found here is the h part. You found the 2. That's a good thing. Well, I need the k. So you define the k by plugging in the 2 into the equation here. So we're going to plug 2. Plug 2. And you're going to find that you're looking at y equals 3 times 2 squared minus 12 times 2 plus the 40. Okay, good. And 2 squared is 4 times 3. How much is that? What is 4 times 3? 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is C or 6. Okay, I'm waiting. Juliana, what are you asking? Is C or 6? This one is C. This one is C at the top here. Okay, so I've got 4. I've got 4 times 3. That's 12. Minus. That's 24. Under the 12th fraction. Oh, this is a 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so 12 minus 24 plus 40. Well, 12 minus 24, that's a negative 12 plus 40. Can somebody find this for us? Basically, you're asking 40 minus 12 is how much? 40 minus 12. 28. Are you sure? Well, let's check it out. 28. 12. Yo-yo. I got 28. So I've got 28 here. This guy equals 28. So the y part of it, which is again the k, is 28. So the vertex is 228. By the way, is this a happy parabola or a sad parabola? It is happy. Pretty happy. And the vertex is at 228. This is a maximum or a minimum? If you're happy, would this be the maximum or minimum? Yeah, because you're happy, so it's going to look upward, right? It's going to look like this, which means this guy's going to be the minimum. 228 is going to be your least. And this guy is going to go all the way to infinity, both directions. So if you want to find that domain, it's anything that you want to have on the real numbers for the x's. The range, however, you start only from 2 all the way up, but not before that. What else do they need here? They wanted to find the vertex and the y-intercept. Aha! What? The y-intercept. What am I touching the y-axis, do you think? I've given you 2 different methods. 2 different methods I showed you last example. How much is my y-intercept? What is my y-intercept? Come on, champions. Two choices to choose from. The y-intercept. Kiera! Oh yes! Oh yes, Kiera. Do not wait for your friend to show the answers, you guys. You also show me answers. Okay, so I need the y-intercept. There's 2 ways to get it. Check your notes. We've done it either with a t-table or something else that we looked at. Okay, keep going. That's try. Yurishi, you're right. How did you get that number? And Devon, how did you get that number? Exactly, it's the C. I use standard form. It looks like standard form. Look, ax squared plus bx plus y. So this is my y-intercept. As simple as that. C is going to be your y-intercept. Y-intercept. Make sure that you're in standard form to do that, though. What's the other way to do it, though? What is the other method to get the y-intercept? The t-table. So I would make myself a short t-table just to confirm x and y. This is for the y-intercept. To confirm x and y, 0 for x, and that's the easy bleep, bleep. Because 0 times anything is 0. And then you're going to get the 40. That's your y-intercept. As simple as that. Okay? So the y-intercept is equal to 40. Basically, you're touching the y-axis at 40. So if you're graphically looking at this, well, what you're saying is basically this line here. See this parabola? You're touching the y-intercept at 40. So I'm here somewhere where the 40 is. Like maybe somewhere here. And this thing is 40. Somewhere like that. And this is the x and y axis. Okay? Alright, champions. Let's do number 6. They wanted me to find the vertex and also the y-intercept. So who's going to help me with this one? Elijah? Help me out with the ABC, Elijah. Elijah, help me out with the ABC. Are you there? Who else? Emmanuel, help me out with the ABC. Could use a chat or a whiteboard. I've called on 2 of you, and what's going on? Don't wait for somebody else, please. You also give me the answer. You try your whiteboards. What is the ABC here? Go ahead, Natalie. Yes. I'm making notes of those who are not answering, again, for participation points. So I've got A equals -1 and B equals 4 and C equals 7. Okay. And to get the vertex, I need H and K. So how do I get H? Basically wanted H and K. Let me see who could help me with that one. David, can you help me? How would I get the H? I did. Yeah. David, can you help me find the H? Okay. Giovanni, can you help me find the H? I see David's trying to write something down. I need the H. H. How do you find the H? I need you to tell me if that's how you. How did you get that number, Giovanni? What was the formula that we used for H? That's right. I need to wait for David and Giovanni, you guys. I need to see some production. You see Giovanni's writing. Yep, be careful with the H though, okay? Be careful with the -B, not just the B, over 2A. So, okay, good. So I've got -4 divided by 2 times -1. Basically, you're saying -4 over -2, which is a 2. Is that how you did it, Giovanni? Because you gave me the answer right off the bat, like just a 2. Okay, 2 is the correct one, and I'm going to fill this in here. So 2 is my H. Now I'm looking for the K. How do you find the K? Plug 2 to find the K. So I'm going to put y equals -2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 7. That's a negative 4 plus 8 plus 7. 4 minus 8 minus 4 is 4 plus 7. And how much is that? 11. Okay, good. So the k part is 11. So I'm going to go here and put 11. That's my vertex. Okay. By the way, they didn't ask for this one, but what if they asked for the axis of symmetry? What would be the axis of symmetry in this case? Yeah, remember, and you really have to label it, Giovanni. You're going to have to say that is correct, but you're going to have to say, is it x equals or y equals? Axis of symmetry would be exactly the number that you have there, but when the x equals that, so you're gonna basically have to point to it and say x equals that number, if that's what they want. Okay, they didn't want that. I'm just saying if they did. Now, what would be the y-intercept? Y-intercept. Yep, 7. That's it. Y-intercept is 7. So I'm expecting a point on this graph. By the way, is this a frown or a happy, or what's going on with this child here? It's a frown face, and you are starting the frown face at 211. So 1, 2, somewhere up here, and you're going down here, and you're touching the x-axis, the y-axis at 7. So this point is actually 7, 0.7. Okay. Okay, awesome. Any question on this before I move on? Any question on this concept before I move on? I talked about standard form. We sang together ABC, and we also talked about finding the h, the vertex, from that standard form by using a negative b divided by 2a. You take that, plug it back to find the k. Okay, any questions on this? Feel free to ask questions in this class, remember? This one says find the maximum or the minimum for the parabola. Basically, you have to find the vertex, and you have to determine, are you looking up, happy, looking down, frown. That's going to be either the maximum or the minimum. So right off the bat, what can you tell me about number 7? Happy or sad? Sad or happy? I need more than a couple or 4 or 5 of you. Yeah, good job. So this one is going to look like this. Okay. And so do you think I'm going to look for a maximum or a minimum here? It will have to be a maximum because you're looking down. How about number 8? What do you think it's going to look like? How about number 8? What would it look like? Up, down, happy? It is happy. So once you find the vertex, it's going to be the what? Is it maximum or the minimum? It's going to be the min. Yep, the minimum. So let's think about this one a little bit. To find the maximum or the minimum, you've got to find the vertex. Vertexo. So I find the vertex by, got a label again. Okay, Armani. Okay. I am back to some people I asked prior to this. Elijah, I need you to help me find the A and B and C, Elijah. Jacob, are you here? If you're here, I need you to help me also find A and B and C, Jacob. Kennedy, get yourself ready for the next step. What do you think is going to be the next step? Okay, David, go ahead. Give me the ABC for 8. David is asking for 8. Okay, go ahead. Elijah, are you here? Come on, David, you asked for this. Give me the ABC for 8. That's correct. I guess there is some delay here. That's why it looks like you guys are writing, but C equals negative 15. That's right. Okay. Number 7, ABC for number 7. Elijah, are you alive and well? Kathleen, can you help me, Kathleen, with ABC for number 7? Here we go. Kathleen is showing up. A is -2. She is correct. A equals -2. B equals -16. And C equals 20. All right. And where is she? Miss Kennedy. Can I see the H? How do you get the H? Maddie, can you give me the formula for the H? Okay, so H is equal to -b divided by 2a, and I get myself looking at a -16 divided by 2a. 2 times -2. Well, that's going to be a 16 divided by 4, which is going to be a 4. Okay, is that right? Double check to see if I'm not tricking you or something. Yellow. Yellow. Is that right? Shouldn't it be -4? Well, let's check. I've got a -2. That's a negative a times -2. Okay. How about the 16? I got negative minus 16. Yeah. Why did you say negative? Is that right, Yurishi? Check what you've got. Because I've got like minus -18. 2x minus 2 is -4. 2x minus 2. 2 times x. Oh, are you saying x squared? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Yurishi. 2x minus 2. Yeah, for the h. Got -b over 2a. B is -16. So negative 16 divided by 2a. 2 times the -2. I've got positive. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about this one here. Yes, you're right. Yes. So 2 times -2 is -4. Yes, you are correct. So that's going to be a -4. Thank you. So -4 here is for h, and I'm expecting to see a k. So I'm going to plug in -4. Y equals -2 times -4 squared minus 16 times -4 plus 20. Be patient with this one. So this is positive 16 times 2. What is, I know 15 times 2 is 30. What is 16 times 2? What is 16 times 2? 32. 32. But it's negative, right? And then I've got negative times negative, that's positive. 32 plus 32. 32 plus 32. $64, because 16 times 2 is 40 is 32, but I've got 4 of them, so that's 64 plus 20. And I see myself here looking at 16, that's a 32 plus 20, which takes me to 52. So that y value, or the k, is going to be that 52. So if they're asking you for the, in this case, it's going to be the maximum, right? The maximum. So the maximum, how did you reach on the y-axis? What's the maximum that you got? Well, it was 52. It's not going to be the -4, right? It's going to be the 52. That's how high you got on the y-axis. That's the highest point you got. Okay, so the maximum is 52. Okay, let's do this one here again, and this one is number 8. I need you to do this with me. I'll give you maybe a minute for you to think and set it up. Set the ABC, set the H's. I'm gonna ask some of you to give me some numbers, so I'm gonna give you about a minute for this one, okay? So here's a minute. And use it wisely. We're trying to find again the is this maximum or minimum for this problem here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. Somebody help me out with we already have done the ABC. Somebody help me out with the H. Did anybody find the H? I've got a -6 and they're not sure. Who else? Who else did H? Did anybody else get -6? Here's another one with -6, confirming. Well, let's do it quickly. So I've got -12 divided by 2 times. Go ahead and plug it in and see the K, okay? 2 times A, which is 1, which is -12 over 2. That's a -6. That is correct. Good job. Now we're going to take the -2 and -6 and plug it in to give you the other side. So y equals what? Y equals what? Don't be afraid to share answers, we said. Remember, you're sharing your thoughts. Could be correct, could not be correct. That is true. Y is actually going to be a -51. That is very true. Y will give you -51. So you just plug in the -6 again. -6 squared plus 12 times -6 minus 15, and you will get y equals -51. And if you think of it again, this is going to be a point where it's going to be the lowest here on the graph. So it's going to be your minimum point. So the minimum that you've reached down there, see the minimum that you got, which is down here, is going to be -51. So this point here, if you want to label it correctly, it will be -6, comma, -51. The lowest on the y-axis you got was 51. That's the lowest that you got here. Okay. This should conclude our lesson today. And I'm going to give you time, obviously, to do some practice. So we're going to spend time into the practice.